As a frequent user of at least 4 social media platforms by which I attain my news and entertainment, I've long been intrigued by the processes in which these platforms may be impacting my visuospatial working memory capacity. Visuospatial working memory capacity is best described as our visual perception of the spatial relationships of objects, which is processed immediately to be utilized within the task at hand. It seems inevitable that our rapid scrolling habits would have a negative impact on our ability to retain and recall immediate visual information. The manner in which we often forget entirely about the content of a post 3 swipes back must, to some extent, alter the efficacy of the working arena of our short-term memory. This inquiry drove the basis behind the experiment to be explored in this video, in which the research question seeks to address the potential relationship between the usage of a fairly novel social media application, TikTok, and one's visuospatial working memory capacity. This study was founded in accordance with a hypothesis which proposes that as weekly time engagement with TikTok increases, performance on a Corsi block tapping test intended to measure visuospatial working memory capacity will decrease. Perhaps the most prominent of previous studies surrounding this topic was completed by Spence et al. In their verbal administration of a story to participants in one of 3 groups assigned to utilize Instagram in 3 different ways. As shown in this graphic, the group which did not engage with Instagram in any capacity were best able to recall the story, while those who utilized Instagram while listening to the story scored about 10 percentage points lower. The study described today was conducted through sharing of the internet-based experiment linked to multiple groups. 20 usable participant datasets were acquired from an original set of 35 responses. Following 5 introductory demographic questions, the participant was presented with a Corsi block test. The Corsi block test administers an arrangement of a variable number of purple blocks to be highlighted yellow in a random sequence. Following a verbal "go" signal, the participant attempts to click each box in the generated highlighted sequence just shown. As the test advances, the number of highlighted blocks increases. The objective of this test is to correctly recall the highlight sequence of as many blocks as possible, with 1 being the lowest possible score and 9 being the highest. The regression analysis output provided by RStudio given the 20 experiment datasets provides significant findings which indicate that for every 1 hour increase in TikTok usage, an individual score on the Corsi test decreases by 0.21. To visually quantify this relationship, a scatterplot was created and a line of best fit was included. As presented in the plot, higher levels of interaction with TikTok, as represented by the x-axis, resulted in a lower score on the Corsi block test, as represented by the y-axis. The data and subsequent analysis produced within the study are consistent with the initial hypothesis, which predicted that increasing levels of interaction with TikTok would result in lower Corsi block test scores. This presents findings consistent with the study completed by Sharafian and Zahodny, which indicates that an increase in social media usage leads to a decrease in memory functioning. The largest limitation facing this study consisted of the insufficient sample size due to time constraints. By continuing to engage in similar studies with larger sample sizes and perhaps different methods of measuring the construct of short-term memory, health guidelines may be constructed to work to mitigate the negative impacts of social media on our crucial, yet oftentimes neglected, working memory capacities.